Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome back to another episode on the Performium Duck SMP. You're here now! Hello! I walked right past you and I didn't even see you. Wow! How'd you get here? Wait, are you the same one? Starting off with a distraction. This is great. Where was it? Over here. You are! You're the same one! How? How do you keep moving? Mystery is mysterious. Okay, anyway, uh, not a lot of news here. As a matter of fact, no new change in number, but you can fix that. If you have not subscribed, can go ahead and subscribe and push this up towards the goal of 2,000. I don't know precisely what I'm going to do at 2,000, but I have a few ideas. But yes, do please subscribe. Today, I have a few things that I wanted to take care of, but the most important thing I wanted to demonstrate was how vital it was for me to get this beacon helmet hat thing. Because while I have been doing okay using that turkey helmet, which had the respiration and aqua affinity and all that. If I go home volcano, let's go out here and just grab a handful of sand. Okay, so if I just go ahead and put this here and I come down here, you can see in my offhand I still have my torch because mostly have it, but also I wanted to demonstrate something. You can see on my head I've got the helmet, and that's how I'm able to continue breathing and, well, breathing better. And if I pop this torch there, I can at least get a little bit of air. But there are a number of ways of building the wall, and actually it's probably going to be better to just run backwards like this. When you run out of sand, it does this terrible thing when you're holding a torch in the offhand. Oh, that was some lag. That starts happening, especially if you aren't paying attention to when your stack is about to run out. And if you catch it soon enough, you can pick up the torches, but if not, you have to run all the way or swim all the way down there, pick up the loose sand. But that doesn't just happen there. Home. Down here, a project has been going on towards getting some materials for the preliminary build of the wall around the outside, and one of them is using the brown concrete, and I think it's this one. Yes. If I do this and fly straight up here like this, I will eventually get to a point where I run out, and if I'm holding a torch, that happens. The torch gets placed just like when you're underwater, only this time the water isn't going to sweep it away. So now, if I take that out of my hand, because of this lovely, lovely beacon, I am able to do this without having to worry about running out of light. And also, I don't have to worry about when I place the last block in my right hand, my torch replacing the action. So I can just do this, and then when I run out, it just runs out, and it feels so much nicer. So you might be wondering what I'm doing here. What we have been doing is getting some concrete by letting the concrete powder, oh, that was some lag. Letting the concrete powder do its thing, falling into the water, and then we just gather it up. The best way to do it, you need a really, really tall stack to make it worth your time though, and we just happen to have this nice slot down here where we can place things near the wall, and It goes way up high to ground level, and we can just get this nice concrete. Isn't that lovely? So I have, apart from the project up there, the ocean digging or the ocean clearing project and future build and the museum and a few other things, I have uh, been neglecting this area down here. And I actually have a plan for doing something pretty large down here, in fact, because since the area up top is going to be a giant hollow tree stump, this down here is going to be the root system, but I want it to be giant mushrooms and roots all occupying the space, but I also want it to be kind of watery. In order to prepare for turning this into the giant cavern that this is meant to be, one of the things that I'm going to have down here is it is going to be filled, well, not filled with water, but it's going to have large pools of water, small lakes or whatever, pretty sizable. I say small, it's not really small, but what will need to happen in order to make that effective is there needs to already be some water down here. As far as this is concerned, I can just build this up on a pedestal here and have like, I don't know, uh, the same orientation of trees just 2 or 3 blocks up, and I can just fill this whole place with water. And in order to make it worthwhile, you can't just put a bucket of water at whatever level you want and hope for it to fill the whole thing in. There must be solid water underneath it. So, just like with the pond or with the lake up there, I'm going to have to fill in from the bottom and then a couple layers up. So, one of the tasks that I'm going to be working with today is converting this into a water-filled mess. I'm going to gather these. I'm going to chop this down, put some more dirt in, maybe put, I don't know. I could just leave it a gap, that way it doesn't interfere. That might be the smart thing to do. I am going to finish off the brown concrete that I need for the minimum that I want to get started. I wanted to have 5 shulkers each of the black terracotta, the spruce logs, dark oak logs, brown terracotta, brown concrete, and brown wool. And I have a pretty good uh, layout in mind for at least the back end of the bark. So I can probably even get started on that aspect of it soon enough. But for right now, what I wanted to do was to just go ahead and take care of lifting up the water. Now, there has been another development recently that is troubling, and I've noticed it when wandering around, even when just walking. If I go this way, you'll see that I have placed a pillar. And what that represents is when I am flying around and I load either this line of chunks, if I'm over there, this is unloaded, and then I fly this way. Either this chunk or the next one, as a matter of fact, F3G brings up the chunks. So it's either this chunk here, and you can do this on the base game, by the way, these grids. That's F3 plus G, G for grid. As a matter of fact, if you do, I think it's F3 plus Q, it brings up this whole list of things that you can do with the debugs. That's an aside. I'm distracted all the time. You probably have noticed. Clear the grid. Now, oh, and bring this back up. One of these two chunk stripes, this one or this one, when I load it, uh, it can cause me to crash whilst batching chunks. And I don't know if that has to do with the chests or not, but I have a suspicion because if that's the stairs here that come down and it goes up that much further, and then there's more distance to go into the chest room, I believe that one of those two is the front end of the chests. And if that's the case, then there is too much trying to be loaded all in one chunk, or at least all in one place in one chunk. And so I have an idea. Since we have a lot of overflow from some of the building materials that aren't going to be getting used here, what I might do is have maybe a space over in a far corner down here underground, far enough away that it won't impede the chunks over there, where I can just have a secondary remote warehouse. Because even just you saw that stutter. If I come over here, I unload that and I give it a second, I look away. What is that? Oh, that's the moon. And then I fly this direction. There's that stutter right there. And that isn't the cocoa beans doing it. It's loading something in this chunk range. So whatever that chunk range is right there, it's loading this. It has to be loading this back wall. This is all empty shulkers. We don't need to keep all these empty shulkers. And this is all cobblestone. This is all stone. We don't need to keep all of these overflows here, occupying all this precious frames. So I'm thinking of having a secondary storage system put down here. I mean, if I'm going to be messing around down here, I might as well do a couple of things at the same time. It won't be pretty for starting, but it'll be away from all of that. And you saw that was a lot of dub chests of just, yeah, oh, that stuttering is too much. And when I come this direction, sometimes it just outright crashes the whole game. So today's agenda, I'm going to work down here in this cave. I'm going to get a backlog of cocoa beans. And boy, have I been going through it for this project. This has been filled up and emptied twice already, just for making this stuff right here. So and a little bit of overflow up there. But I need cocoa beans. So I'm just going to get a backlog of this. Then I'm going to chop down all these trees. I'm going to raise the level up. I'm going to put the dirt up to that level. And then this is going to get moved upstairs for preparation for actually working on the perimeter. I will be able to put these stone back in the wall. And then I'm going to just go ahead and start flooding this 3 layers deep of water. Why 3 layers deep? I almost forgot I meant to cover that. The reason I'm doing 3 layers deep is because I don't want it to be just bedrock at the bottom of all the water pools. It would look terrible and funny. Uh, so I want there to be at least 1 layer. For sure, I want some of the pools to be larger pools for sure. I want some of them to be at least 2 deep, maybe even 3 deep. I might go 4. I might just go 4 layers of water. We'll see. It's not going to be that much more work. But I want to have the water already down here so that when it comes time to working on this space down here and turning it into the root system and the fungus cave and all that, I already have it done and taken care of. But also, in the far corner over here, I'm going to put a little room. I might not even have it down here. I might have a secondary storage system over here. As long as it stays inside the claim, it's fine. But having all of those derps that happen when I try to load the area, it's just too much. So, two things today. Fill this with water, move some chests. That's my goal. I'm going to get to work on chopping and raising that. I'm going to get some more cocoa beans, and then I am going to get to work on flooding this whole cavern. So, one thing at a time, I'll be back. Okay, a little bit of an update. I have managed to move down quite a few dub chests, actually. This is all empty shulkers. All of these. This is cobblestone, stone, dirt, totems of undying, granite, diorite, and andesite. And you could see a little stutter when I was moving this direction. That's probably going to just always happen. I don't think there's much I can do about that with the way we have things set up right now. But as you can see, the dirt has been moved up a little bit. The water is gone here because all of the dry concrete has been put into shulkers. I'm waiting for this probably last batch of cocoa beans to mature before I run that. I was going to come over here and grab this. Oh, that's something. Here, let me come over here. No stutter. None at all. So all of that really, really helped a lot. And I'm hoping that I will be able to stay on top of keeping things switched around so that I can unload the chunks and load them more efficiently and not have to worry about all of the lag that's happening. Oh, you can see Cuddles is helping me move some of these things up. But yeah, the project is nearly ready for me to start working with the water. And all that really remains at this point is moving these things up, replanting to make sure that can get going again. And then once this is fully mature, I will harvest it and then tear all of this down and maybe rebuild it somewhere else. I'm not sure, but I'm happy with the way things are going. So I've just learned something that I did not know about the 2x2 spruce trees. That's the dirt layer right there, and if you do that, it can, yeah, that's still dirt, it didn't take it over. It can grow down. It wants to grow down on this specific variety of the tree. I have never encountered that before. That is so weird. Anyway, I'm putting in the last few saplings here because everything has been moved up and out of the way in preparation for the next task. Well, everything except for this here. All right. Before I show you what I was going to show you, I need to take those out. Um, One thing that I like to remind people of when working with water and water physics for Minecraft is if you have a huge area that you want to fill in, whether it's something like the lake up above or this even larger thing down here, you only need 2 buckets of water. That's it, just 2 buckets. And that is going to be enough to finish the entire project because as long as you place the second bucket one away from the first in a straight line like this, and it isn't going to flow over the edges, and it's a big flat area or even a smaller one, you'll make an infinite water supply, and you just take from that infinite water supply and just keep moving it. Skip one from where the last one was, and 2 buckets will do the entire place. That's all you need. There's one other trick, but I'm going to have to finish this row to show you, so I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. All right, So here is the other trick that is most useful for this, and this is what's going to take the entire project and turn it into just moments instead of months. And that is, well, here, let me grab some water. This is the source block. You can tell it's a source block because it's level. Even though it's flowing, it is level on both sides on both blocks. This is slanted. It goes down just enough for you to be able to tell that this is not the source block no matter what. So if that's the source block there, then this would be the one to put the water in to make this become a source block without needing another one. But if I do that, am I going to have to do it for all of this water? No, not even close. I'm only going to have to do it once. So if I fly all the way over here, you can see just like that on this side here, that's the only source block, and then it goes down. So I'm going to place this block here, and you can see that I don't have to do anything. It's just going to update everything else as neighboring source blocks. I'm going to come all the way over here. Let me just go ahead and grab that torch along the way, and that one, and we can just watch it arrive. Make sure it's loaded. It is. And it'll just come all the way down here. Presto. So I'm going to do this for this layer, and then the next two layers above, and then we'll take a look at the mess that I've made after it is all done. So I'm going to get back to this, and I'll talk to you in a moment. All right, the first layer of water is completely done, and Cuddles asked if I wanted help with popping all the torches, and I looked at the bucket in my hand and said, no. No, I'm going to let water do that work for me because, that's a lot of torches and I don't want to have to worry about that. So I just let the water pop all of them. Oh, that's a thought that I just had. If you are terrified of doing water scaffolding as a skyblock player, you can try to hope for getting spruce and then do this method somewhere away from where you're doing the rest of your stuff and hope for one of these. And that way you have solid blocks to dig down onto for being able to access further down on the map. Because this is plenty, and you can even justify, oh, it goes under. So you can even dig the dirt without having to worry about losing it. That's cool. I I have learned things. Anyway, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to chop this. I'm going to do the water, two more layers of it, and then I think it's going to be time to wrap up. So I'll see you in a moment. All right, the entire place, 3 deep in water. I love that effect as it slowly gives the visibility. Anyway, it is 3 deep in water all the way around the entire place, all 155 by 155 interior, because it doesn't count the outside, because that's stone, not water. But yeah, this part is done. Not too much fanfare needed. It's just accomplished. All of the glowstone is above the water. And again, these glowstone blocks mark where either for sure or potentially some slime chunks are for some later projects. Now, one thing I do need to keep in mind for over here is making a little bit of a platform for catching the tree droppings. I did not set anything up for that. I just moved everything up. The cocoa bean farm is all put away, and everything else is done and ready for whatever's going to happen next down here, including all this. So now I'm going to go play with bookcases after I offload some buckets and some torches and stuff. Um, for some reason, placing water, by the way, all that uses a lot of hunger. I didn't even think that that would be a thing. It's not like I was wandering around much. Oh, I know why. I know exactly why. Because when you're moving in water, even if you're flying, it still counts as swimming and that uses hunger. That's exactly the reason. Anyway, I'm going to get to work over at the museum, get some bookcases in, and then, oh, hi, Cuddles. And then I will go ahead and wrap things up. So I'll be back. Okay, so based on what I can tell, it looks like I'm going to have enough to be able to do the whole project and then some. So that's good. I also wanted to show a little bit better view of the perspective of being in the maze. So you'd come up from down here and you would get to this hallway here and it would turn left and be a dead end. And this is a short dead end, so it would be easy to recover. But if you come down this way and you won't be able to see through the walls or over them, it's going to be all the way up to the ceiling. Oh, and that also reminds me, I need to take out these ones that are going to be hidden. So that's even more bookcases that I'm going to be able to recover. But anyway, this is going to be all the way up to the ceiling, and so you won't be able to see anywhere you're going. So it's going to be easy enough to get a wrong turn, and some of these wrong turns go up or down a floor, and so there's going to be a little bit of confusion because it is going to be 6 or 7 layers tall. I forget which. I think it's 7 total. Um, so there's plenty of opportunity to get just outright lost. There are going to be a few landmarks, an occasional sign here and there, some cobwebs, some deteriorating shelves, especially as you get further down, there will be some deterioration, but for the most part, this is going to be full bookcases, and it is going to be a maze and a half. So that is that, and I think I'm happy with the amount that I'm going to have left over. At least for now, I don't need to be making a bookcase farm immediately, so that's no longer a worry again. But yeah, I am happy with today's progress. Did the cavern under the base, did a little bit of bookcase placing, and a couple other things off camera. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave a message in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a like. It does help. And if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future stuff comes out, not only on Performium, but my other series that I am going to be working on a little bit more now that I have a little bit more time opening up, at least until the end of the year again, when time closes on all of us. And we have to deal with those mystery days of what happened during the winter between Christmas and New Year's and all of that, but that's for future me to worry about. Right now, me is going to continue working on this and finish layering all the bookcases and all that. So I am going to let you go. Thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.